Hargreaves, originally from Canada. Sarah's a ecologist, and I can't speak tonight, sorry guys. Working towards her PhD at Iowa State University. She is interested in the role of microbial communities in soil health and human health. Let's give her a round of applause.
I'm really excited to be here tonight and talk to you about the art and science of fermentation. As a soil scientist, I understand the role that microbes play in the health of our soils, and I want to share with you tonight the role that microbes can play in the health of our bodies. Fermentation is the conversion of food by enzymes produced by bacteria and yeast. In other terms, it's the transformation of carbohydrates into an alcohol and CO2. You're probably most familiar with the type of fermentation that involves the conversion of sugars into an ethanol to produce alcohol, or the leavening of bread by CO2 produced by yeast. But the diversity of fermented products is actually immense, and it's estimated that around 1/3 of all the food eaten by humans in the world is fermented. Some other products that you may or may not have known are fermented include things like sauerkraut and yogurt and soy sauce. And in the case of apple cider vinegar, fermentation goes beyond the point of alcohol into acetic acid. But one of the profound things about fermentation, I think, is that it allows us to harness the transformative power of microbes. And I'm going to just spend some time talking to you about some of the benefits of this transformation. Humans have actually, or fermentation has actually played a really important role in human evolution because it's a cheap and easy way to preserve food. Humans have been preserving food for over 7,000 years. Another important benefit is that fermentation makes food more digestible. The work that microbes do essentially pre-digests the food for us, so we can absorb more micronutrients and vitamins from the food. And a benefit that's really close to my heart as an ecologist has to do with treating our bodies like ecosystems. I bet you didn't know this, and I find this fact fascinating, but 90% of the cells in our body are actually microbial. And so by eating fermented products, we can inoculate our bodies with beneficial bacteria and yeast. And this has really cool health benefits like reducing inflammation and bowel irritation and helping to regulate our hormones. A fourth benefit involves the fact that fermentation produces new flavors. We all know that sauerkraut tastes really different than cabbage, and this is true for all fermented products. Some people think fermented products taste really sour or rotten, while others find them really delicious and exciting new flavors. And the fifth benefit, as far as I'm concerned, is the capacity for fun and community building that fermentation allows us. Whether you're sharing recipes or swapping starters, fermentation really allows us to engage in our food and community in a way that I found really rewarding. So now that we know why fermentation is so great, let's talk about how you can ferment at home if you're interested. I think the most common type of fermentation that's done at home involves naturally occurring lactobacteria that live on the surface of vegetables. But today I'm actually going to talk about how I ferment with SCOBYs. SCOBYs are these disgusting looking things. They're symbiotic communities of bacteria and yeast. And they're actually, each SCOBY has a specific thing that it ferments. They're very easy to use. And the first SCOBY that I'm going to talk to you about ferments milk to produce a thick yogurt-like substance called kefir. Kefir is mildly tart to sour and bubbly, and it's because of the bubbles that it's sometimes called the champagne of milk, which I totally agree with. Kefir ferments on a 12 to 24-hour cycle, so it's very fast to make. You use unpasteurized or low pasteurized milk to make it. I use 2% picket fence milk. And you ferment it at room temperature. So every evening in my house, I have a fresh batch of kefir ready. I strain the granules and add them to fresh milk. And it's ready to drink or put in the fridge. The key to good kefir, at least what I've found, is that it requires a regular schedule. It requires that daily maintenance. It requires that you keep around 10% granules to milk and that you shake it a lot while it ferments. And this gives the milk, the SCOBY, fresh kefir. And actually, a fun fact is that when in Eastern Europe, fermented kefir used to hang in doorways, so as people walk through, they'd shake the kefir with their head. So every night I get fresh kefir. This costs me the price of milk and takes me less than 5 minutes a day. I get a huge benefit from the microbes in the kefir and also get to give the SCOBY away to friends because kefir grows so quickly. Another SCOBY that I use is a kombucha SCOBY. Kombucha is another overpriced product found in health food stores. It's actually really cheap and easy to make at home. It's nothing more than fermented sweet tea. And so what you do is you make a big batch of sweet tea using black, green, or even herbal tea. You add that to your disgusting looking SCOBY, along with around 10% already fermented tea. This brings the acidity down and prevents mold formation. And then you just let it do its thing for around a week. And after a week, you have this delicious beverage. I actually think the real fun with kombucha making comes in the double fermentation process. And so this is when you add things like juice or ginger or other flavors and let the kombucha ferment in jars for another week. Now you may be asking, is fermentation safe? There's some problems with canning. The good thing about fermentation is that when it is contaminated, it's usually contaminated with mold. So unlike canning, we know when it's contaminated. Humans have been using fermentation for 7,000 years, as I said, so we've evolved a keen sense of smell and taste and pretty good visual cues to know when you should throw your ferment out. With that said, if you're at all interested in fermentation, I guide you to this book, The Art of Fermentation. It's my Bible. And I'd also just encourage you to start talking about fermentation, because you'd be surprised how easily SCOBYs will land in your kitchen.